Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tuesday Night Hype. How is everybody doing? I am Bloody and joined here today by Shimonahi. How you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. You sound pretty enthusiastic to cast tonight. We are going to be watching, we're going to be watching Muzzy and Tomflr. Muzzy has his Warlock, Shaman, Paladin, Druid. Tomflr has his Warrior, Warlock, Rogue, and Mage. And Muzzy's Shaman is banned, and Tomflr's Rogue is banned, I believe. So what are you thinking of these matchups?
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward. Looks like Muzzy's got relatively broke back lineup. I would assume it's like Zoo, Secret Paladin, and just regular combo Druid. And then Tomflr come in with Warrior, Warlock, and Mage, so maybe more of a control-based lineup. It could be like a control warrior with a Reno and a Freeze Mage. So, you know, see the good old broke back versus control matchup here.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we are going to jump right into their game as soon as they start there. Now, before we begin, you want to discuss a little bit about the nerfs that came up today?
The nurse. Oh man, I don't even know. I don't even know where to get started. I don't got enough time for that, dude.
Yeah,
that's like a whole two hour spiel about it. Overall, I mean, they nerfed a decent amount of cards into a manner where they can still see play, but some of them just seem a little like Owl is just worthless. I don't understand. Like, I don't know why you'd ever run Owl in your deck.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't think they want. I think they want people not to run Owl. And I think BGH is still good. We'll see. I just think classes that have built-in removal is going to be the main thing.
Yeah, I think BGH will still find a place with all those huge minions. But anyway, jumping right into the game here, we have Muzzy versus Tomflr. Muzzy has his Druid versus Tomflr's Warlock. Now it looks to be Zulok and it looks to be... Alright. It almost seemed like a regular Druid until you saw that Black Knight a second ago. What's with that? Jeez.
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on really on either side. We got Tomflr who's running Zombie Child, which is kind of interesting. Maybe he's going for more of like a board flooding type of zoo. Maybe we'll see some Reliquary Seekers. Maybe he just likes Zombie Childs instead of Flame Imps. And then Muzzy does have a Black Knight, which probably won't get a ton of value in this matchup, but there is potential to like Black Knight, like a Defender Imp Gang boss or something, which would be pretty sick.
Yeah. I mean, hey, 4, 5, 6 mana to destroy a 1/3 seems to work out pretty well, right?
Sure, exactly. Value right there.
What could Muzzy be considering here? Whether to throw down his Piloted Shredder?
Yeah, you probably just want to slam the Shredder, because after seeing the Zombie Child in turn 1, you're probably assuming it's just Reno.
Mm-hmm.
So you probably just want to start pushing as much damage as you possibly can. Tomflr is probably going to be... I mean, I don't know. Muzzy's probably going to be pretty surprised when you start seeing the Zoo cards coming out, I would assume at least, unless he knows what Tomflr's already running. But either way, I like the Innervate Shredder play.
Yeah. It seems like a pretty heads-up play.
Pretty heads-up play.
Decently heads up. It's a little weak to Abusive Sergeant or something of the like, something of the sort. But
yeah, I guess so. But if your opponent's Abusive Sergeanting, then he also needs another 1-drop. Otherwise, he kind of wastes his turn. So you're pretty happy.
Yeah.
Either way. Ooh, a second Shredder. Hell yeah.
Decent. He's definitely looking for another 5-drop to connect the curve there a bit. But for now, he could trade off the Zombie Chow, but where does he even benefit? It seems like just clocking towards the face might.
I mean, you could push the face damage, but after seeing the Haunted Creeper come out, you know that it's Zoo.
Yeah.
Since you know that it's Zoo, you need to fight for the board. So I definitely like trading with the Zombie Chow. Take the value trade while you can, otherwise it might end up putting yourself in a position where it turns out that they just buff the Zombie Chow, and then you don't get a 2-for-1, and so you just get a 1-for-1. So.
Yeah. I'm off my
which you don't want.
game.
Yeah, it's alright. It's alright. That's why I'm here, buddy. I'm here to carry you to victory.
Exactly. I'm just here to talk, and you're here to correct me. That's how the little combo is gonna work.
Yeah. I'm the looks in the brain. You're the host.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the computer. You're everything else.
Yeah, exactly. So the swipe's pretty nasty. It's something Tomflr probably didn't want to see, but getting a swipe or two out of the Druid pretty early can help in the long game.
Oh, man.
You know, Muzzy's just the best player in the world, so it's fine.
Definitely. Best Druid player. Always has that perfect curve. Druid of the Claw right off the top. It's going to be great at 4-6 taunt and protect his 2-1, although how much do you really want to keep the 2-1 alive? It'll probably
I mean, a decent amount, because it can trade into a lot of things, especially with Savage Roar in your hand. Like next turn you could end up Savage Roaring if you wanted to. I mean, I doubt you would because your hand has so many minions in it, but if you wanted to, you probably could.
Yeah. Every minion matters, especially with Druid, where you have a card that directly buffs things on board. So
yeah,
I definitely don't think we're going to see a Druid of the Charge here.
Yeah, Charge doesn't really make too much sense in this situation. Second Zombie Chow off the top for Tomflr. Probably have to tap here.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm considering if he has Enhancer Mechano, those 2 power overwhelmings could be really strong. But if not, they're gonna trade up, pretty likely.
Yeah, he's gonna use the Direwolf and the PO to get his only top minion, so rip Black Knight value. But he's gonna take out the Druid of the Claw, get some value off the Imp Gang boss, and
he's probably just playing around Black Knight. Like, why wouldn't he play around Black Knight?
I don't know. Like, you know. I think I might have liked to see the coin Zombie Chow there by Tomflr. It does play into Mind Control Tech a little bit, so that's probably why he opted not to do it. But this is still pretty good. I feel like he just would have had enough trading value. But why use coin to play Zombie Chow when you know you're going to draw Dr. Boom?
No, yeah, exactly. I mean, if you know turn 7 is coming up, why not just turn 7 on turn 6? Obviously, Dr. Boom is what you do on turn 7, so...
Cool. So we're just gonna see the coin slam the boom, no problem.
Yeah.
It's not really that. It's not that bad for Muzzy. Muzzy doesn't have BGH, but he does have his own Dr. Boom. So both these players are just really displaying what it takes to be a professional Hearthstone player.
Yeah, just drawing exactly what they need. Oh my gosh, just another one.
Exactly. Dr. Boom's just literally everywhere.
Yeah. Well, standard, everybody. Coming soon. Until then, this is what we're looking at. We're just looking at Dr. Boom versus Dr. Boom.
So I think I'd like to see Power Overwhelming. Oh yeah, obviously tap phrase, but I think I want to see Power Overwhelming on probably. I don't know. I guess you could do it on the Imp, trade it into the Dr. Boom, and then trade both your Boom bots into the Dr. Boom as well. But it's kind of hard because if after you trade the first Boom bot into Dr. Boom, if it hits the other Boom bot and that Boom bot hits your Boom bot and that Boom bot hits his face, then you have to rely on Knife Juggler procs. Yeah. So
you could also throw down a Juggler and a Nerubian Egg, and then Power Overwhelming. So maybe there are some more targets that are likely to hit. Maybe it even kills off the egg.
Yeah, but if you play the Juggler and then the Nerubian Egg, then it could juggle one of the bombs, which would kill one of your bombs, which would kill his bomb, which could kill your bomb.
Yeah, so it's just more chain reactions. It's a really touchy turn.
Yeah, so he actually drops the Creeper instead of the Egg here, which I think is a little odd, but I think it's just, he's out of PO, so I think he's just really going for more of that board-centric style, and it looks like he's actually going to opt just not to play the Knife Juggler at all this turn.
Okay.
Which I guess isn't too bad, especially when you still have 2 Implosions in your deck. Holding onto the Knife Juggler for that swing turn can be pretty strong.
Yeah. Especially if he gets that Implosion. Now, Muzzy's not looking to be in the best spot unless his Boombot can manage to hit the Dr. Boom for 4 after swinging into the Dr. Boom. Then he's pretty likely in a bad spot here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you want to use the Keeper here to, like, silence off the Egg, but you can't because you probably need it to kill the Dr. Boom unless you want to take 7. So you could just, you could potentially Savage Roar, trade the Boombot and your face into the Dr. Boom after silencing off the Egg. So if you're okay with taking 7, then, which I think is probably Muzzy's strongest line of play here.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like too bad of a line.
I'm really surprised that he attacked with his face first, though. There was always a chance that the Boombot could have just killed the Dr. Boom and you could have saved 7 health, and I think the % chance was probably worth it, but...
Yeah. I mean, it definitely hit the favored ping after the Dr. Boom died, so it was say it couldn't have hit the favored ping when the Dr. Boom died. I suppose maybe he didn't want... Yeah, same likelihood of it hitting 1 on the Boom. Is it hitting 4? I don't know. It's just
Yeah, but either way, it ended up working out pretty well. We're gonna see some Black Knight value that does pretty much nothing here. Actually, we're probably not even gonna see the Black Knight just because
the silence can come down as well. An Ancient of War is solid too for healing to keep yourself.
Yeah,
alive.
playing the silence here is kind of a losing play, especially since next turn you can Black Knight and silence.
Mm-hmm.
But you probably have to play one of the 7-drops here. I think his best bet is just to slam the war. He might be a little weary because Tomflr's been holding on to a couple cards for a really, really long time and just kind of tapping and playing cards off the top.
Yeah.
So he might think one of them is silence, but as long as Tomflr doesn't pick up like an implosion and or an owl, Muzzy should be fine here.
Oh, this is really strong for Tomflr. Oh man, so he's got his Knife Juggler and his Implosion and his Sea Giant. Now, there's not really a great way to play all of those at once, so he's going to have to make the choice between Juggler and Sea Giant. And when you're up against Druid, you could almost expect cards that they've been holding on to for a while to be BGH. However, he did play his Dr. Boom before, so it's probably not BGH.
4 Implosion.
4 Implosion, all day, every day. And now there's no room to play the Zombie Chow. Or the Sea Giant.
Yeah, he just doesn't have enough room.
Yeah, well, he was going to be one away from.
Board clear. Board clear.
Oh, perfect. Oh, man. Now, swipe off the top really would have been perfect here. Honestly, if you're Muzzy, the play might just be to Wrath the Knife Juggler for 1, and accept that if you don't get your swipe, you don't win. I mean, if you heal your 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so you're 3 damage out of range, you could kill the Knife Juggler, so you're 5 health away from dying.
I mean, you can kill the Knife Juggler and the Nerubian and Hero Power one of the 1/1s, so he would need 6 damage out of his deck with no POs left, so it's not too bad.
Well, like you said, he's been holding that Zombie Chow for so long, it could be considered to just be this huge risk card.
Yeah, I mean, going for that play is probably a losing play. And I think Muzzy kind of sees that. Yeah. But it looks like he's just going to try to buy himself 1 extra turn.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, there's a BGH on Tomflr's point of view. So this is a very interesting Zoo deck. It's more about really holding onto the board as opposed to an aggressive stance on the board.
It seems like he just took out Flame Imps, put Zombie Chows in, and then I'm assuming he's not running Bran and he's just running BGH instead. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Gormok or a Leroy coming in soon, because I haven't seen anything else that kind of leads to him not having either one of those two things. But we'll have to see. This play is nuts, by the way.
Yeah.
The tapping into abusive here was just insane, exactly. And it really puts Muzzy on the. I don't know. I don't even know who he could have here to come back.
Nothing at all. There is, I'd say, just about nothing. Maybe an Ancient of War, but still that wouldn't help him. Yeah, Ancient of War would not help.
Yeah, alright.
Alrighty. And Tomflr takes game 1 against Muzzy. His interesting combo of a little bit of, some Zombie Chows and whatnot instead of Flame Imp in a zoo really paid off for him against Druid. Even though that is generally a positive matchup. Now, this Druid was a bit slower as well. Do you think that affected the matchup?
I mean, I don't really think so. I think it just kind of came down to Muzzy's draws. His last couple draws were pretty weak. After the Dr. Boom, he didn't really pick up anything too strong that could help him, like the second swipe. He did draw the Wrath, but it was a little bit too late, so he just couldn't take the board control away from Tomflr, especially after that Knife Juggler Implosion turn. That was just kind of the game turner, so.
Alrighty, let's jump into this next game here. We're seeing Tomflr bringing out his Warrior against Muzzy's Druid, which is now seemingly a pretty favorable matchup. Oh, wait, that is Patron. I was thinking maybe if it was Control. Now it's a little bit different. And we see Muzzy is running Shade of Naxxramas, which has been taken out of a lot of decks recently. But I guess it sees more value in this kind of minion heavy. Well, we're not too sure how many combos Muzzy runs.
Yeah, Muzzy's probably running 2, I would assume at least. The Shades usually opt in or out depending on like if you're running Mind Control tech, if you're running Aspirants, and how many Living Roots you're running. So it really depends on. I'd have to see Muzzy's full list to really say. But Tomflr is playing Patron. This matchup comes pretty much strictly down to whether or not Tomflr just patrons Muzzy before Muzzy druids Tomflr. So It's really a fairly interesting matchup to see because once the patron gets off the first wave of patrons, if the druid can't deal with it, the game's obviously just over.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Druid, Muzzy doesn't really have too many spells going on, and Tomflr has a really solid curve so far with his Acolyte and the Death Spite into Corsair, so he really just needs to draw a Patron, and preferably an Inner Rage as well.
Yeah, Tomflr's had a relatively strong start compared to Muzzy's lack thereof. So we see a Armor Smith, which is pretty weak in this matchup, but followed up by a Acolyte as well, is pretty strong.
Oh man. My real question is, why not Emperor Thorson there? Because then you're going to be able to play everything on curve.
Yeah, you could go with the Emperor. I feel like Muzzy's really kind of saving those innervates and the coin, trying to save as much ramp as he can to really deal with that first wave of patrons. When you can like Keeper, Swipe, and Wrath in the same turn on turn like 6, it's pretty strong.
Yeah. Now that Azure Drake is solid if he just picks up a Swipe as well. It'll be good for dealing with patrons. I think the line here is to silence the Acolyte and just kill off the 1-3. I mean, you kind of feel a little bad trading off your Shade, but to keep this 1-3 alive for when the patrons come down is super unfavorable.
Yeah, silencing the Acolyte here over silencing the Unstable Ghoul is kind of a hard choice. Because you can just use the Shade and give him the one card, which saves health on both your Keeper and your Shade. So it's kind of a hard decision, but also giving your opponent an extra card. Like I don't know, I don't really know which one's better. They both have merits to them. So Muzzy decided to go silencing off the Ghoul to save the extra health, but the extra health is not going to help him at all. Like it's gonna be able to clear the board off, but it's not really gonna be able to actually take the board presence, which is what Muzzy wants.
Yeah, it's definitely a toss up.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess this play's pretty decent. Like if he had gone the other play, he would have denied a card, but the board state would have pretty much been in the same spot. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think
it really wasn't within his knowledge that Tom didn't have the Patron yet. So, but that's something you could never really assume one way or another.
Yeah. I think we're probably, I don't know. Playing Dr. Boom into a second charge Death Spite feels pretty bad. I would assume we're just going to see coin Black Knight here.
It's pretty value. Now, Muzzy does know that Tomflr does not have patrons, or he probably would have played them. Well, no. You know what? He didn't have the Death Spite fully charged up, so maybe he wouldn't have played patrons there. Yeah. So it's still a little bit of a toss-up whether he wants to commit into patron turns, whether he wants to Loatheb to block it off, or what he might want to do.
Yeah, Loatheb's not bad here. I pretty much like any play, other than I don't like his 7 draws, but any of the other cards are pretty much fine.
Yeah, I mean he could go with something as simple as Azure Drake and just cycle.
Yeah, he could cycle the Azure Drake. Seems a little weak. A lot of times you want to save the Azure Drake for like an Azure Drake swipe turn because that's fairly strong against dealing with patrons. All you gotta do is kill one and then you can just clear off the rest.
So maybe the Black Knight is the better play here. I mean, you do clear off the 3-3. You leave yourself with a favorable board position. The Black Knight does die to the Death Spite, but hey, if he uses the Death Spite, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, Black Knight was probably at the point where you're going to get the most value as you possibly can at this very moment. But he decides actually to hold on to it, stop the patron wave, because he knows that if Tomflr does have the patrons this turn, that the game is over and he's not going to have any form of comeback material. And it actually worked out really well, because if he didn't end up Loathebbing, Tomflr probably would have drawn at least 4 cards with Battle Rage.
That would have been that was a very solid consideration, because Battle Rage is unplayable with 6 mana, so that was a good heads up play by Muzzy.
Very heads up, very heads up.
Very heads up. His head was up there. Now, from Tomflr, you have very few options here. I guess the real option is whether you want to play your Frothing Berserker before you swing. And
you don't.
The answer is probably no, because you just don't want to get BGH.
Yeah, you don't want to get BGH, you want to get Wrath, like you just want to play it afterwards. It's gonna have enough attack to the point where if it lives, like you'll still be able to just go super ham, but
yeah.
It just gives Muzzy less options, which is what Tomflr wants to do. He wants to limit the options. Oh no, the Black Knight value, it's gone.
Oh no! He won't be able to Black Knight ever. That's been a pretty dead card both games. Can't help but wonder what card that could have been to help Muzzy out both games.
Yeah, no, probably any card in the whole game because he's running Black Knight.
Yeah.
Slamming the Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom is pretty strong here because it puts Tomflr in a position where if he wants to Whirlwind to get the crazy value off his frothing, there's like a pretty high chance it just dies. So
yeah, it really puts him in a decently risky spot. However, drawing 3 cards for 2 mana is really solid. It's a good way to start your turn for Tom.
Yeah, I've heard that's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard it's okay.
How about 6 cards for 4 mana?
I don't know, man. That's getting too good. Let's not.
So, little misplay there by Tomflr. He opted not to attack with his 2 minions because he said, "No way, they're gonna die." So one of them did die, so he did end up missing that 1 damage. It's probably not going to end up hurting him too badly, but I don't think he can grab lethal here. 3, 4, 5, 16, 20. He was actually 3 damage off. Yeah. So he would have been 2 damage off if he would have hit. Wait, no, 1 damage? Yeah, he was actually 1 damage off lethal if he hit with the Armor Smith. So.
Yeah.
Because each of his 1-attack minions he can actually trade into the Dr. Boom, and that counts as 2 damage instead of just the 1.
Exactly.
So yeah, he was 1 damage off lethal there, which honestly probably would have been that bad to go for. But
no, it wouldn't be bad. You have a bunch of charge. I mean, you have your Grom and your Grom activator. However, right now it doesn't seem to matter too much because your Grom and Grom activator is more than enough to finish the game off. Throwing Tomflr into a quick 2-0 over Muzzy. He's really just going for the sweep here.
Yeah, he's just really shown what it means to be the best.
Yeah. Now, Muzzy seems to be getting somewhat punished for bringing a typical Smork lineup without smorking enough. Because he does have Paladin.
I haven't seen any Smork, dude.
Yeah,
I haven't even seen a Wild Growth. This is nonsense.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, we haven't really seen Wild Growth. We just saw it at the very end of the zoo game for card draw, and that was about it. Oh man, is this Khadgar coming in on the mage? That is spicy, dude.
How spicy is it? Whose memes are they spicier?
Spicier than Kyo's memes, man.
Wow. Those are some spicy memes, Bloody. That's some bold statements you're coming at me with right now.
Yeah, I'm that confident. Wow.
So we're gonna get to see a Freeze Mage versus a combo Druid mirror, or not mirror. I don't know why I said that word, but matchup. The Druid's probably is obviously favored in this, but Tomflr's got a pretty decent hand. Scientist into Intellect and a Fireball to deal with an early minion. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Well, Tomflr has a decent hand, and Muzzy has the dream of Wild Growth. Oh, okay, so he's going to go with a Coin Innervate Paladin Shredder. He's going to choose to skip turn 2 instead of turn 1. That's fine. This is probably the best line here.
He's not going to skip any turns.
Well, I mean, the Wild Growth I count as a skip turn, you know?
Oh, man, that's not a skip turn. That's called a winning, Bloody.
Okay, alright. Well, that makes sense.
So...
I can't get over Khadgar. He's beautiful.
He's not, dude. He's the most hideous hero they ever introduced into the game. Stop.
I haven't played in 2 weeks. I haven't seen this guy yet in action. He's captivating.
Tomflr drops the... I don't know, he could just go with the Intellect here. Dropping the second Scientist also isn't too bad, but it's a little bit off curve. Next turn you can like ping and play the Scientist, so I think I like the Intellect better here.
Yeah. There was one consideration to possibly... It was very minor consideration to trade off your Scientist before you draw to guarantee that you have a less chance of drawing your secret, but that's probably pretty bad, so...
I mean, it's not horrible to pull the secret. And you probably just want to push the 2 extra damage on face, just in case it becomes one of those games where you need every single point of damage. That 2 damage might be make or break. So, I'd like to see Muzzy silence off the Scientist here.
Yeah.
A lot of people save the Keeper for strictly the Doomsayer, but I don't know if that's always correct. He does have Wrath Swipe in his hand, so he could just go with like a cycle Wrath Hero Power. I definitely like that option as well, because he has nothing to do next turn anyway, so maybe cycling the Wrath is a little bit better. The Swipe seems a little strange. Looks like he might be reaching for the Swipe there. I feel like Swipe has a little bit more versatility in this matchup, I guess you could say, especially since it can go face and proc the shield after they freeze your whole board. So, I don't know. He has a lot of options here, but I think I like the Wrath for 1 Hero Power the best.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's nice to cycle. You really want to get... Oh, Black Knight. Why?
Perfect.
Now, how much of a priority is it really to kill off that Scientist compared to possibly him top-decking his secret?
I mean, when you have nothing else to do on your turn, regardless, it's probably better just to deal with it now. So that way your shredder can just keep smorking away. And now, unfortunately for Muzzy, Tomflr did get the ice barrier off the scientist. You probably want to see the block off there first. You can just keep pushing that face damage and get to the block as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So that's a little unfortunate, but it's not too big of a deal because, especially with double scientist, you kind of have to assume that one way or another there's at least one barrier coming out.
Exactly. Now, Tomflr is really drawn into pretty much what he wants. He got an Acolyte for extra card draw, and he has his antique heal bot to proceed to keep himself at a really decent health. He's really drawn along the lines of exactly what he needs against the Druid to win, as long as he just pulls in a nice Tharson combo as well. He has his Blizzard Doomsayer for turn 8, worst case scenario, board clear. It's really looking good for him, I'd say.
Yeah, Tomflr is really, he's missing, all he needs is like an Emperor Thorson and an Alex Strauza. Once he picks if he ends up picking those two cards up over the next like 3 or 4 turns, the game could very easily go to him.
Yeah. Now this is one game that Freeze Mage doesn't often win, so even these decently bad situations seem pretty solid for a Freeze Mage. Ancient War is going to slow down Tomflr's damage towards the face, but Freeze Mage ultimately kills you with spells anyway, so I don't think Tomflr's too upset about that taunt coming down.
Yeah, he's probably a little bummed because he's not going to be able to push any more minion face damage here, but he should be able to probably start cycling with the Acolyte. The Blizzard seems a little presumptuous, I guess you could say. I don't think you need it. I don't think you need it quite yet. So I think I like the Acolyte ping, but I definitely could see him going with just like a Fireball ping, trade in a heal bot, and then just push another 2 damage with his Scientist.
I'm not sure I like that.
It's not too bad because a lot of times, certain matchup, you don't want to use any burn spells on minions because you just really want to get to the end of the game as fast as possible and burn out the phase. But the Druid matchup, your opponent usually spends his entire turn dropping just 1 minion, so it's not too bad to just end up fireballing or using your burn spells on the 1 minion, especially when your hand is as much damage as Tomflr has with the double Frostbolt Pyroblast. And Tomflr does need to stall for quite a while in order to actually get to the end of the game, so I don't know. I don't mind it too much. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad consideration. Also, because he hasn't seen his Alex Strauza yet, and he has no idea when it's coming down. So, pushing that face damage is pretty decent. I would say if that Pyroblast was an Alex Strauza, that play would be flip flopped. He would not do that. But because he's already starting to chip him down low, seems like a decent situation. Now, Muzzy, on the other hand, he is forced with the decision of whether he wants to trade off the Scientist like before, or just clock into the dome. And at this point, it seems like the way he's going to win is to hit face.
Yeah, I think we're going in, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
You definitely have to freeze the board here, I would assume. We'll see a Blizzard face. Or, I mean, he might actually have just... No, I think it's a Blizzard face turn.
It might just be Acolyte Ping.
No, you can't Acolyte Ping, you'll just die.
Well, what
looks like he wants to trade it. Yeah, it is a nice barrier. So you could potentially go with the Acolyte Ping. It's a little risky because you don't really want to get that low.
Yeah, you're right.
And you want to take off the spell power as well, otherwise your opponent can just swipe your face.
I agree. Now Muzzy is just clocking it right in there with the Druid of the Charge. He doesn't have any of the combo, but Tomflr can only assume that he does. To not play around combo against Druid is pretty risky, especially as Freeze Mage, although you do make some big sacrifices as Freeze Mage sometimes when you're playing around it.
Yeah, so Tomflr's in another odd spot. This is kind of just showing the power of Druid in this matchup alone. So much pressure. Tomflr is trying to hold it off and trying to kind of make it to that Alex Strauza turn, but it's just not really working out too well.
Yeah. Man, oh, wow! Ping into Shredder to drop a Vitality Totem, which is going to successfully heal Muzzy back up to at least 29 health. Well, 27 plus the 2 armor that he has. That's pretty huge.
Yeah, that's insane.
Aside from maybe a Whirling Zap-O-Matic into maybe a Savage Roar, this is pretty huge.
Yeah, it's definitely not what Tomflr wanted to see. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever for Tomflr, to be honest, because it does reduce a decent amount of damage coming out from Muzzy, especially if that was something that had 3 attack. And we can kind of see that Muzzy's entire turn was spent dealing with the board, ensuring that Tomflr doesn't get too many card draws. And that's actually really, really good for Tomflr, because it allows him to Now it cycles 2 cards, reduces a lot of pressure, and he's even gonna be able to frost over Doomsayer here.
Yeah. But I personally think the play would be... See, at this point, do you even want to kill the Vitality Totem? Or do you just accept that the way you're going to kill him is through Alexstrasza? You do have a lot of damage in hand. You have 12, 16, 20, 23 damage in hand.
I mean, it's not too bad either way. They both. I mean, you don't really need to kill it. There's no real reason to. You freak out about dealing with it because the 3 health probably won't matter too much.
Yeah.
And we can see here, Muzzy's gonna be able to silence off that Doomsayer, armor up one more time, putting him to 33. Yeah. And he's holding on to that lore too, just waiting for the Alexstrasza. And Tomflr's kind of in an awkward spot where he has the Frost Nova, but I think it might be time to go in.
I do too. I think it might just be time to hop in. Maybe
hop in.
Probably ping the Vitality Totem over the 4/1 charge.
It is time to hop in.
Time to hop in.
Here we go.
As the young Ginge would say.
As the young-blooded Ginge would say, it's time to hop in. Yeah, you don't really have much else going on. Looks like he's going to keep going for that board clear strategy, which, looking at Muzzy's hands, could work fairly well, especially if Muzzy's afraid to use that lore. If he doesn't pick up any minions, Tomflr's going to be able to last a decently long time.
I think that's if Tomflr manages to pick up a Doomsayer. Now, Muzzy, he's starting to draw cards because he really doesn't see too much to do, and obviously healing is not the option. However, it kind of feels bad to relinquish 5 more health against the Freeze Mage, who you're probably going to lose to if you don't get that last second healing in. If you're sitting at 34 as Muzzy, I'd be decently confident that would lead to this play.
Well, I mean, Doomsayer's a good card, I heard.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I heard it kills itself once in a while, so that's weird. But, it's a solid body. Contests some minions. Ooh, that's combo.
Yeah, he's probably gonna use it to clear off the Doomsayer here.
Yeah.
And hero power, get one more in there. Yeah, I really like this play from Muzzy. Very conservative, keeps his board alive, makes Tomflr waste another ping on the Vitality Totem if he ever wants to actually start bursting down. But I mean, Tomflr doesn't even have an ice block set up. There's the ice block, but I think it's a little bit too late. I don't really think there's a way that Tomflr can come back. He needed that Alexstrasza earlier. Yeah. Well, he needed an ice block set up and the Alexstrasza earlier. He had the burn, but he was missing those 2 key components. So this game's really over. It looks like Muzzy's gonna be able to finally pick up a win with his Black Knight Druid.
Yeah, I think the consideration here is maybe if the Mad Scientist had rolled an ice block, if maybe Tomflr, and obviously the Vitality Totem didn't get thrown down, if Tomflr would have just started burning the face and probably had a decently high chance of winning because he drew into a lot of his damage. It was just very unfortunate that the Vitality Totem came down because that just demotivated him from hitting the face at all.
Yeah, that was definitely a possibility he could go with here. Unfortunately, though, for Tomflr, we are going to see his block popped, and I'm assuming once he loses his block, he'll probably just leave the game. Druid at 31 HP, 1 block down. Yeah. Feels bad, man. Feels bad, man.
It's looking pretty great for Muzzy. No, we can't declare anything yet, but I have a feeling Tom.
I don't know, dude. I got my judgment. What are those hammer things called that judges have?
Your gavel?
I got it out.
I got my judgment hammer out.
Yeah, I got my judgment hammer out.
I don't know. I'm gonna write down my prediction for this game, and we'll see if I'm right.
Oh, really? You're gonna write it down?
Yeah, dude.
All right.
I don't know.
Did you write Muzzy wins, or did you write Tomflr Pyroblast self in face?
Well, all right. So I didn't predict how he would go out, but he went out in style, and you gotta respect that at least.
I don't know. It seems a little odd for Tomflr to actually show that he's running Pyroblast, because a lot of lists don't actually run Pyroblast. But
I mean, it's a little bit of revealing, but it's a treat for the fans, honestly.
Yeah, so that was Muzzy's best matchup against Freeze Mage that he did manage to pick up a win. The next 2 matchups he actually has to win is going to be Seeker Paladin, I would assume at least, and then
Is it Zoo? Yeah, and then Zoo. So both these matchups are definitely unfavored for Muzzy, so he's going to have an uphill battle from here.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. Especially those zombie chows are not going to help. Wait, Tomflr had the zombie chows. What are you saying, Shimonahi? Come on, man.
What?
Hello?
Who's talking about zombie chows? I don't know where these zombie chows came from.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure you're the one who brought up the zombie chows.
Bloody, you didn't update the score, dude.
Huh? I'm doing it
Score.
right now. Thanks, dude.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for
Sorry.
pointing it out.
I just wanted to make sure the stream knew that you were really dropping the ball.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Okay, you're fired. So anyway, solo casting now. We have Muzzy here coming in with the early knife juggler, which is definitely one way to put a lot of pressure on Tomflr, but luckily enough, he does have the mad scientist to just really combat that. The early mad scientist is one of the major problems for zoos to deal with, and we're kind of seeing the reason for that right here.
Yeah, so I updated the score. That's my comment on this part of the game.
Whoa. I'm a little surprised that Tomflr is thinking about playing the ice barrier over the ice block. I think the best line of play here is to play the ice block and then trade into the knife juggler. Because you want the second ice barrier. You don't want the second ice block. That's so confusing.
It is. Well, you have the second ice block now. I suppose normally you do want the second ice block, right? So maybe he's just carrying over that mentality in non-zoom.
I mean, of course, eventually you want the second ice block, but with your hand being like, oh, I think the reasoning that he did it is because he wants the ice block to get the discount on the Emperor Thorson, so that way he can ice block and Alexstrasza in the same turn.
That's a solid consideration.
I believe that is where he's going with this, and I also think he should be pinging face here.
Now, why should he be pinging face if he's just going to Alexstrasza?
I mean, yeah, there is definitely potential for him to be Alexstraszaing his opponent eventually, but I feel like the Frost Nova Doomsayer is going to be cleaning up the board anyway, so why waste your mana?
The consideration might just be in case you top deck a Blizzard, and that might be your eventual line of play.
Maybe eventually, but like the Frost Nova Doomsayer will be your play like 100% on turn 5, especially with Emperor Thorson in hand, because it makes it so Muzzy can't really deal with the Emperor Thorson unless he either has like Knife Juggler Implosion, or I mean, in this case, like a Leroy.
Yeah. Well, now he's just playing his Death Rattles, because even though Tomflr is clearing the board, Muzzy will still be able to come out with it with a pseudo Dr. Boom. It's 4/4 in these little 1/1s. It's a mini.
Yeah, the massive amounts of Death Rattle Muzzy had backed up is definitely going to help him be able to deal with this Emperor. It's for sure Tomflr's not getting 2 ticks, which is really good for Muzzy, and he's not going to have to use that Leroy right off the bat, which is also pretty good because Leroy can a lot of times catch Freeze Mages off guard and really push that extra damage you need to end the game.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Dr. Boom here. We could also see like we could see Implosion, but Implosion seems a little weak. I think I like dropping either Dr. Boom or Sea Giant.
Dr. Boom seems pretty decent. However, there's always the consideration of saving Dr. Boom to kill off your opponent, maybe. But I don't think that would be the consideration here.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Boom itself is just so strong against Freeze Mage. You want to play it as soon as you can. Obviously, if you're at that stage of the game where you don't actually need it anymore to push the extra damage, then sure. But
yeah.
At this point, I could see the Sea Giant coming out, but I think the Dr. Boom is probably a little... I mean, it's more damage on board, which I think is really what you want here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Muzzy roll over a 2, and it hits a 3. Now he does not have to trade off his 4/4, and he's still able to throw down his Sea Giant with a perfect curve going there.
Yeah, that was a little risky, because if he does end up hitting the 2, he kind of just gets rolled super hard. But luckily enough for Tomflr, lucky enough for Muzzy, he did hit it. But we could see that it's probably not going to matter too much. Tomflr is 1 burn spell away from this game being over.
Yeah, you're right. Now Muzzy can pop Tomflr, but Tomflr draws one thing out of his whole deck. I would assume out of the 18 cards he has left, a good at least 8 of them can finish the job here.
Well, Muzzy can't actually proc him and kill the Alexstrasza, so it's a little bit too risky unless he manages to pull like a taunt off of Peddler, he's gonna put himself in kind of a weird position where if he doesn't trade with the Straza, he's dead to just a Fireball.
Yeah, you're right. You never want to be dead to just a Fireball, so definitely trading out the Alex Straza would be the play. Now, if he gets Power Overwhelming, it'll help with trading. If he gets the Taunt, that might be the play as well. And he does have Voidwalker as an option. I think that's what he's going to go with. Probably just trade off an Imp, plays Voidwalker.
He can't. He still can't proc though. He doesn't have enough room on board, does he?
If he trades off an Imp?
If he trades off an Imp, he only has 20 damage.
Oh, wow. So that's exactly the amount of damage he needs.
Yep, so he actually has to trade into the Alex Straza here. Pretty unfortunate for Muzzy. He just was a little bit short on the ability to proc Tomflr here. This is going to give Tomflr so many... I mean, he has so many turns. He has Acolyte of Pain to draw, probably minimum 2 cards here. And then he has... that's 2 cards plus his next turn draw. So even if he gets proc next turn, he has the Ice Blocks. He has at least 4 draws to draw burn. And there
it is. There's a burn. I'm going to be honest, I really didn't enjoy Muzzy just filling up his board like that and trading off a Sea Giant.
I mean, he was kind of running out of time. Muzzy was just kind of he was just a little bit off the mana in order to actually proc his opponent.
Yeah.
So Muzzy didn't really have a good option to go with there. So I mean, I don't know. He tried. He was just a little bit off the damage he needed to finish off the game. Because if he would have procced his opponent last turn, he still would have lost, just because of how good Tomflr's hand is. But maybe keeping the second Ice Block actually worked out pretty well. Because if he did end up getting proc last turn, he still would have won the game with just the Ice Block Fireball. So perhaps Tomflr is 10 meta levels above me.
Yeah, that seems just about accurate. Now,
Yeah.
Muzzy is checking to make sure that this is an effigy. Or something. Well, it's definitely not effigy, but I guess he was just checking.
Yeah, he was checking for the effigy, buddy. Good call.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly what's in Freeze Mage. I don't know. Checking for insert very generic bad mage secret here. Unfortunately for Muzzy, that is the Ice Block, and good for Tomflr. He's able to move on because that Fireball, Ice Lance, and Frostbolt combo is more than enough to destroy Muzzy's chance at getting into the Tuesday Night Hype Finals.
Rip.
Rip is right.
VS Rip Muzzy.
VS Rip Muzzy. And emotes are a consideration. Congratulations, Tomflr. You're moving on to the finals.
Spoilers, dude.
Solid display of dominance with that Freeze Mage. Any comments on what we just saw?
Good series overall. We saw a lot of strong plays from both sides.